Hello there, my name is Mwalimu and welcome to class. Today's video is about real estate photography and I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 or 6 ways to improve your real estate photography, and I'm going to be doing this with a particular bias towards Airbnbs because as compared to the professional real estate photography, Airbnb photography is a bit more open and a bit more available. I think like in every town across the country you have Airbnbs of different sizes, different economic classes and different setups. So I think this is one of the low-hanging fruits of the photography industry that almost any of us can partake and make some little money or some plenty money depending on what cluster of Airbnbs you're going to be shooting. And one of the ways to get into this particular industry is partner with Airbnb hosts or partner with real estate marketers, because they visit these places on a daily and they know where they are and they are going to be looking for content. So if you partner up with them, you can get a lot of frequent about 7 years. Tip is on gear, and I'm going to divide gear into 3 segments. Number 1, the camera body. Number 2, the lens, and number 3, the lighting. Okay, or the light. So I'm going to start from the camera body. On the camera body, you can use either a crop sensor or a full frame. The property that you need most from your camera body is giving you a bit of clean images at higher ISOs. From experience, it is not going to be possible for you to shoot at this ISO most of the time when you're shooting houses, and because you're going to be not able to give you clean images the moment you leave your base ISO. You're going to get grainy images, and that is not going to be very well or very very well received by the client. Okay, that is point number 1 on the camera body. Then you have the lenses. Of course, you need a wide angle lens because you need the maximum field of view possible. So for example, the most basic lens to start with is your kit lens. Your 18 to 55, your 18 to 105, your 18 to 140. If you use a crop sensor Nikon camera, or for example, your 24 to 120 if you use a full frame Nikon camera. So when you get to choosing the lens, of course, the body is going to matter, because if you're using a crop sensor body, it is going to multiply your focal length and give you a narrower field of view. That means that if I'm using a crop sensor body and I'm using a 24mm on the body, I'm going to be shooting at 36, which is a bit more narrower and zoomed in as compared to someone who is using the same 24mm on a full frame body. I'm going to do another video on the relationship between sensor size, focal length and angle of view a bit later, but just know that in case you're using a crop sensor body, you're going to need a wider lens for this particular kind of work. So, and then after that, you're going to have flash. So you might have to add a bit of light when shooting houses, and I think for most of the time, like 80-90%, a speed light is going to be good enough. I use a Godox TT600, but a Godox, any speed light is going to be good enough. A V1, a Yangnu 564, a Godox 685, any speed light is going to be good enough. But once in a while, there are some places that might need you to have a stronger light than a speed light, especially when you're shooting those houses that have very big windows that bring in a lot of natural light from the outside. So you need a bit more of field light than just a speed light. And in such cases, you can maybe think of a small strobe, for example, the Yangnu YN200 that I use, or the Godox AD200. I never go past those two in terms of lighting houses. So that is it on the gear. Then point number 2 is about presentation. Yes, you're the photographer and your work is to shoot the house, but how well the house looks is going to depend on how nicely the house has been presented in terms of setting things right, putting things right, what needs to be ironed should be ironed, what needs to be cleaned should be cleaned, what needs to be folded should be folded. So in case you do not have someone to do this for you, you can hire someone to do it that if the job allows. And ideally, you should have someone do this for you, because as a photographer, you're not an interior designer. So you might not know where to put the pillow and that is sitting right. So have someone help you with the presentation, either the house owner or the Airbnb host that you're going to be working in. So that is about the presentation. So then number 3 is about composition. Of course, you have to compose nicely. And one of the elements to consider when shooting houses is lines. Not me, but lines. Because every fitting in the house is going to have some form of a line. The TV is going to give you lines to compose with, and make sure that you give dominance to the dominant lines, and make sure that the dominant lines in the photos are nicely placed and very straight in the photo. That is it about composition. I'm going to the whole bedroom, showing the whole house. Then I go online and I find that I found a house with blue walls. But the problem is, this blue was because the photographer did not set their white balance right. That house is actually a shade of green, not a shade of blue. So when I get to the location, I'm going to find a green house, not a blue one. And because the color of the photo taken of that particular house was not accurate, I've wasted my time and possibly lost my money. So as you're taking photos of the house, make sure that you get your colors accurate by using the right white balance, because the white balance is your measure of color accuracy. And then the last point is ambience. As you're setting your photos, as you're taking your photos, have a good balance between ambient lighting and added flash, because you don't want to kill your ambience as you're shooting the house with flash. You should still be able to see the lighting of the house, see the LED lights in the background, see the lighting of the house at night. So make sure that your photo, number 1, has a bit of at high ISOs. Like I said at the beginning, you might have to shoot at wide apertures, and you might have to shoot at slow shutter speeds. Actually, sometimes you might have to shoot long exposure using a tripod. So those are the 6 tips I was sharing about real estate photography with a particular bias to Airbnb photography. So I think I have answered that nicely, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. So if you like this particular series of video, guys, the most And the name is Mwalimu.